This was a show that certainly happened. I'm John Redland with my review of AEW Dynamite, and we start off with a graphical tribute to Road Warrior Animal. Very nice tribute. One half of the greatest tag team of all time, the Road Warriors, in my personal opinion. Now him and Hawk can give the Doomsday device to everybody in the afterlife. Some great matches being held there in the afterlife with all the wrestlers that have passed on. Rest in peace, Road Warrior Animal. And then we get JR, Shivani, and Excalibur on commentary, and we get the in-ring debut, in AEW rather, of Miro and Kip Sabian with Penelope Ford versus Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. Janela cannot cut a promo to save his goddamn life. He talks about, how he used to date Penelope Ford, and, been there, done that, and that me and Sonny are on the express to victory. Yeah, please. Sonny Kiss, actually has something. Joey Janela, couldn't even lace the boots of the Midnight Express or the Rock and Roll Express or any goddamn express that has ever existed in wrestling. Joey Janela is fucking rotten. Sonny Kiss, though, I don't mind Sonny Kiss. And Miro looks like he's lived in a damn gym. That being said, this match should have been half the time that it was. It was very awkward. Kip and Miro could be a decent tag team. Miro hit some good moves, though. Hit a winding slam, just throwing Janela at one point. Did come up limping, hurting his ankle. And launched Kip right into Janela, where Janela hit him and knocked him into the, into the cheap seats, basically. No, actually, he was just launching over the guardrail, and then he hit him, and then he landed on the floor. Very awkward spot. Janela really can't fucking work at all. And, yeah, this just wasn't very good. What used to be the accolade, but now the game over, according to Excalibur, tapped out Sonny Kiss. Should have tapped out Joey Janela, because Sonny Kiss has something. He's a mid-card act, but at least he has something where it's like, okay, hey, I need to watch him and see what he can do. Janela has no goddamn upside at all. And then Eddie Kingston, comes out and says, leave the hard camera on. I'm talking directly to people, directly to Jon Moxley. Cuts a promo saying Jon Moxley sold out, went to the land of sports entertainers. Really good promo here by Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley in the main event due to the fact that the six-man tag had to be put on hold because Lance Archer came into contact with somebody who had the virus and he is being quarantined. Hopefully he is going to be okay. All the best to Lance Archer, his family, and friends. He posted about it, and I know he'll be okay. He's definitely an athlete, but hopefully all you guys are staying okay and staying as safe as possible. So, it was cool. Moxley does face-to-face here, and, a bit of a pull apart. The referees are, holding him back, and we get a good hype for the main event that they just suddenly had to make out of the blue. And then we get Omega joining commentary for his match, for this match with Paige and Evil Uno, and Omega, for all the praise that he gets, is not a very good talker. He really isn't. Now, he did put over Paige during this match, but for a guy that is apparently the best wrestler in the world, he's not very good at talking. It really was kind of awkward. Sometimes a little bit of insight, and most of the time he was just, saying stuff and nobody cared. I just tried to tune the guy out. Evil Uno with the Dark Order on stage versus Hangman Page. Evil Uno is not a bad athlete. I do want to say right once again that I fucking hate the Dark Order. I absolutely hate the gimmick. I don't even hate the wrestlers in it. I just hate the idea of it. It's not as bad as the group that calls themselves Retribution in WWE. It's not that bad at all. But it is, in my opinion, the worst thing going on AEW television that isn't Brandy Rhodes. But anyway, Hangman Page should have beaten Evil Uno in half the time that it took him here. Again, it's not that Evil Uno's bad, it's just, I don't care about the storyline with the Dark Order. Yes, I know they do stuff on Being the Elite. Good for them. I don't watch Being the Elite. I don't have the time. If other people do, that's fine. You guys can watch it, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. If you guys get something out of the Dark Order, great. I just don't. What did Paige do to deserve this? What did I do to deserve this is what I was asking myself. I don't like the Dark Order, but, that being said, was it a bad match? No, it wasn't. They did the ref leg thing, wrestler's leg into the ref's arms, kind of like they've done in New Japan, and they've done other promotions, but I see it a lot in New Japan. And eventually Buckshot Lariat 1, 2, 3. So there we go. That's pretty much it. Again, Paige should have beaten him in half the time it took him. And then Shivani is talking to the Bucks. Apparently Matt dyed his hair. He looks ridiculous. Not the only dyed hair spot that we will get. And he breaks Tony's phone and then throws money at him. That's about it. I'm not buying the Bucks here as heels, even though they're unlikable douches, but it is what it is. And then we get Orange Cassidy versus Brody Lee, TNT Championship. Going on the record, do not really care for Orange Cassidy. I get why people like him. I don't. Brody Lee, I haven't found Brody Lee interesting. I'm sorry. Since the first few weeks he was on AEW TV. Since then, it's been a downhill decline as opposed to an uphill decline, and I just didn't care. TNT Championship. It was starting to not even mean that much when Cody had it because the open challenge matches were hit and miss, and Brody. Maybe if he wasn't attached to this goddamn gimmick and Brody was even a little bit interesting on Dynamite, I would actually care. But I didn't. And then they had the Dark Order interfering in a whole bunch of... Nobody cared about any of this, or at least I didn't, and it didn't seem like some people did. But it's an acquired taste. Some like it, some don't. Eventually, Discus Clothesline, 1, 2, 3. Orange Cassidy got in some moves, don't get me wrong, but this match was, again, twice as long as it needed to be. And it didn't serve a purpose. It didn't help Brody. It didn't help Orange Cassidy. The TNT Championship isn't more valuable. And then suddenly the lights are out and Cody's music hits. And the announcers are trying to pretend they don't know whose music it is. I knew whose music it was. And then Cody shows up. He's got all dyed dark hair. He's a dark-haired prince, I guess. He's the American dark-haired nightmare. And takes out 5, I think. That's Howlin' Angels, right? I don't really care because I don't really care about any of the members of the Dark Order. He takes him out and whatever. It is what it is. Then we get Lee yelling at Cody, what kind of man, it says that over and over. What kind of man allows his wife to post thirst traps while calling me daddy on Instagram? Daddy Brody, because she's trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. He has a dog collar. So they're trying to make it Starrcade 83 with Piper and Valentine only maybe 5% as interesting. It's not that Brody and Cody, which is really going to be difficult to say, are not good athletes. I just don't care about this feud. I don't. I'm sorry. But you know what? They're either going to have it next week. Maybe they'll have it at the pay-per-view. In fact, honestly, I think you should probably have it at the pay-per-view because it would be the same month as Starrcade 83, so many years ago. I mean, why the fuck not? But whatever. He has a week to answer him, so he's going to answer him next week. We then get Private Party with Matt. Matt sounded very off. Matt should not be on TV until he recovers. He says that Jericho's his prime suspect for the fact that he got his knee taken out, and Jericho and Hager were there with a pipe. The pipe was out acting Jake Hager, as it is known to do, because Jake Hager is not very good at the acting or even the wrestling. He is a good athlete, and he is bland to fucking watch and listen to and endure, and his wife's a goddamn real doll. Moving on. The Inner Circle's here, minus Sammy. Jericho's mocked Matt on his birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Matt. And then Sammy makes his triumphant return. Remember that uncomfortable match at AEW All Out? It wasn't the fault of Sammy or Matt, but it was just a bad idea. Yeah, I didn't really care if Sammy returned, is what it is. Jericho then said he didn't hit Matt with the bat, but he could this week. And then Quentin challenges Jericho. And then Cassidy says, no, my God, I almost beat Jericho. I'm going to challenge him. And he's going to make him his Le Champion bitch. Okay, hey, they gave Private Party some mic time, and I don't think they did that bad. So this was what it was. And then Tully puts over FTR. He's the consultant for them. And they are going to change the rules. 20-minute time limit on TV to get a brush for greatness. And they have to beat the champions or FTR gets a check in the win column. Okay, good. Old school stuff. Nice way to, feature some tag teams. They're going to pick SCU next week. They talk about backyard comedic wrestling. Here come the best friends after the parking lot brawl they had with Santana Ortiz last week, which I actually didn't mind. Now, I didn't think it was great, but I didn't mind it, and I really hope Trent's okay. Fucking hell, Trent really got cut up badly. I hope they got some big bonuses for that. And we've got a match. Oh, no, we don't. Because Cash says, oh, no, we don't want to beat you guys up. You're not ready. You're too beat up. And then Diamante and Ivelisse, the one that likes to no-sell shit and thinks mental illness is a bullshit excuse. Thanks, Ivelisse, you fucking idiot. Versus Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida, NWA Women's Champion Thunder Rosa and AEW Women's Champion Hikaru Shida. I want to say right now, if you have not seen it, check out Thunder Rosa versus Priscilla Kelly, United Wrestling Network's Primetime Live Episode 2. The show itself leading up to the match was kind of hit and miss. But Thunder Rosa versus Priscilla Kelly, well worth investing and well worth watching. Match is fantastic. One of my top 10 favorite matches of the year. That's including New Japan, WWE, and anything on AEW. Fan-fucking-tastic stuff. This was not so fantastic. And that's sad because I like Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida, but they can only do so much when they are trying to, help their opponents take it on the chin. Diamante is not horrible, she's just not great, and Ivelisse, for a 16-year veteran, just looks like a petulant child out there and isn't very good. She really isn't. Thunder Rosa honoring Animal, Road Warrior Animal with her face paint, very nice stuff. And yeah, Ivelisse phoned it in. Rosa and Sheeta are very good. And Falcon Arrow for 2, and then Ivelisse breaks that up in the knee. 1, 2, 3, Diamante gets the victory. Thunder Rosa, credit to her for working really hard to try and, continue the destruction tour. And at least they had her only do some spots, and Sheeta got the victory. I just feel really bad that this is not the best use of Thunder Rosa. And if it leads to a rematch with Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa, I'm all for it. But Ivelisse should not be signed to a contract. If she isn't signed by AEW, she should not be signed. Send her somewhere else, because she ain't worth the investment. And then we get Jericho saying he's going to fist Isaiah Cassidy next week. I think that's what he said. And then MJF shows up. And they kind of mock each other while praising each other. And they say, the loser talk. No, I was saying it's a limo driver, MJF says. Jericho, oh, I was saying it to Tony Schiavone. And then clearly they're going to eventually face each other, probably at Full Gear. Who knows? 30 years of Jericho on October 7th. It's an anniversary. Okay, cool. And they announce a bunch of matches. Then we get Moxley versus Eddie Kingston. AEW World Title. All I'm going to say about this is chops, chops, and more chops. Lots of chops. Sweet Christ of chops. And they laid this shit in. I'll give them credit for that. Now, was it my favorite match? No. But did they treat it like a fight? Did they treat it like they respected each other, but they wanted to beat the shit out of each other? Absolutely. And eventually, the Bulldog choked out Eddie Kingston, and it was fine. Eddie Kingston just passed out, and the referee called it. And then the Lucha Bros run down and attack Moxley. Here comes Will Hobbs. He was supposed to be part of the 6-man tag that had to be put on hold. And Hobbs gets in a really nice spinebuster on Phoenix, then gets laid out with a double super kick. And then here's Darby with a skateboard. He hits Phoenix, and then big old spear from Ricky Starks. Big old run in, and we get all that at the end. The heels beating everybody down, and that's the end of Dynamite. Well, not a bad episode. It wasn't one of their best efforts, so that's just my opinion. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritland. I'll see you soon.